So I was listening I started listening to half of this talk. I don't know who the gentleman was. He was speaking at Hillsdale College, and it was titled "Christendom is Dead" in America. And I was like, and this was, I think he spoke there October 2024. Okay, and he said, I'm not gonna. He said it's gonna sound like I'm blackpilling, but he said I'll have a good ending. I haven't listened to all of it, but listening to him at the beginning, he just said that what Christians need to do is accept that Christendom is dead, and that it's a post-Christian country. Okay, I don't accept that, but I understand why he's saying it. I just think some of his ideas are wrong about it. But interestingly enough, I was also listening to somebody else prior to that was speaking at Hillsdale. And he was talking about, and this is where the media and the liberals, they're such liars, because there's so much documentation written by like George Washington about how important Christianity was, how America was founded on Christian values. And yet we allow other religions, but they made it very clear that not all religions were best for self-government. For self-government, Christianity was the best. You can argue that if you want, but unless you want Sharia law, the radical sect of Muslim religion does, or you want polygamy that Mormons do, or some sects of Mormonism, none of that is cohesive with the Constitution that was written. It's not. So that's why we have everything just craziness. And so and people, the other side loves to argue, the atheists, and they're not atheists. What they do is because they don't believe in God, okay? They've replaced it with something, usually man, or, just like in 1986, the whole Burning Man concert thing started with burning an effigy, okay, in San Francisco Beach. All right, that goes on every year. Paganism is all around us, okay? And I'm kind of combining both of what these guys said. But this one of the speakers was saying, that was talking about how Christianity was woven into. He said the founders were, the 1776 founders, they were so brilliant, they were trying to do this, government and God thing, and trying to keep it as self-governing as possible. He's like, look at us now, everybody. We live in a society that actually thinks the Supreme Court rules over us, and that's not even their role. That's not even what their role is, but that's what it's become. Because, paganism is what always ends up leading to loss of rights. It does. But that's in the Bible too, which history shows that. It's just atheists don't want to look at that because, again, they just don't want to have anything to do with Jesus. But, he was saying that it's actually the state's obligation to not let immoral things take place. Like he said clearly, Moloch and Baal and sacrificing of children or human sacrifice at all is totally incompatible with the American Constitution in every way. And he said, and there's places where the state is supposed to do something about that, like the government. Like, when it goes that far, like your religious liberties America was about religious liberties, but there's a reason that the founders spoke about it. It won't be for every religion, and just not anybody can just do whatever they want, because let me say exactly what he said. He said you have to fix the people. The founders were empathetic. You cannot have self-government without a moral people. And moral generally means, by and large, religious people. And if people lose their attachment to religion and lose their attachment to morality, they cannot have the habits and the virtues that make self-government work. And we've seen that, right? Okay, like we literally have higher educated people that were pushing in my profession and the medical profession that it's totally acceptable to mutilate children's genitals, all in the name of gender affirming care. Like, that's how way off track. Like, that's because when you remove God from everything, then what you will do is you will replace craziness in its place. And that's what wokeism is craziness. And then he says, Christianity and politics can go together under the founder's scheme, or whether there's some way that all religions can work under the founder's scheme. And he said, no, that not all religions, like the Aztec, that's going way back to the Greek days. And as I said, Moloch, he said, the virtue that we can understand through our natural reason and the morality of the Bible, it's only insofar as they are compatible that you can have a society, a Christian society, in which Christian morality flourishes. Any interpretation of Christianity or any other religion which undermines just government, which undermines a decent society, that is a problem, and it is both the right and the duty of the state to prohibit that, so insofar as someone interprets Christianity in a way that undermines public morality. So basically saying, no, there's a place for the government to do. So even though we're this country that's free religion, okay, there's a limit to that. And clearly that limit has been long crossed, okay? We have governors, okay, I live in Illinois, that supported gender-affirming care, mutilating of children's genitals, okay? That, like, it's just the most horrible thing you can do. The frontal lobe isn't even formed yet. The most highest of educated went along with it. Still, to this day, don't want to walk it back, don't want to take any responsibility. Nursing profession at the top doesn't, no, nobody. Just, oh, okay, we're not doing that anymore. So that's not a moral society. That's not a moral way of living, right? I mean, it's just not. Nobody ever taking any accountability. Nobody, admitting when they're wrong. Nobody recognizing that there's some things you shouldn't do, no matter who above you is telling you should do it. All of those things have been lost to this where we're no longer, people that self-govern. We're literally people that have everybody above us telling us what to do, and because everybody goes along with it and doesn't want to think for themselves and wants to follow the paganism path, or they want to incorporate, energy, vibration, and paganism into Christianity, then that's how you get to this place. And so that's why the other guy who I haven't finished listening to was saying that Christendom is dead, and I was heartbroken listening to him. It has declined in America. Interestingly enough, though, the statistics say that it's skyrocketed globally, Christianity. So, but the one that was saying Christendom is dead, he was saying, people don't go to church anymore. And so, see, that's where I think that's where I disagree with him. I mean, I think that God is maybe opening the way, because what God truly wanted, what Jesus wanted, is for each individual to know the Holy Spirit. The way we've been living, even though that maybe to some people seems like the right way, just scheduling God in on Sunday is not at all what Jesus wanted. It wasn't. So I'm not saying get rid of churches, but that's why you end up having the Catholic child abuse problem in the churches, okay? They never address it. So people that are truly looking for that true connection with Jesus, that it's hard to go there when you want me to ignore that problem that is an ongoing one, and whether it's your parish or not, and yet I'm supposed to believe you about everything else you say. And I think that's why, my opinion, and maybe it's just me hoping for the best, I don't know, is that God is moving the Christianity from maybe Christendom, where it's just, we just go to church on Sunday, and he is making a way for people to realize truly what Jesus wanted was the personal relationship with God. on a one-on-one. That's my hope, is that it's moving into a different